Hi, my Rotary family. Hello. It's the 5,429th meeting. Richard, I'm so glad you're here. You haven't been here for weeks. Nice to have you back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are privileged with a number of guests today, so I look forward to greeting all of you. And a big thank you for the pre-meeting slides. I hope you all saw the gala slides and you can look forward to Saturday's event. And of course, the Mini Masters, which was incredibly fun. And we put these weekly slideshows together so you can see all of the activities and take part in the joy of the committees week after week and see the good work that we're up to. And a thank you to the greeting line, which is the next big project. That's chaired by Vince Sanzari. We will be getting an update soon, and we're hoping to complete that project during my year. So fingers crossed. And now Sarah Klisch is going to sing. Run, Sarah.
Not just Sarah, everybody's going to sing. Yes! And we're going to do a different song today. Oh, Beautiful, you know that one. So here we go. I'll try to pick a key that hopefully works for most of you. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Thank you, Carl.
Perfect, thank you. Way to mix it up and have a little fun there, Sarah. Thank you. IT, there's a weird pop-up window on my screen here. Can you do the slides, please? Thank you. Okay, nobody actually has their birthday today, but we are going to see a list of birthdays pretty soon when they fix my technology here. I'm a Luddite, by the way. I know what my skills are, and I know what they are not. Oh, that's embarrassingly easy. Okay, perfect. So now they're not advancing. Okay, we don't need slides, right? We don't need those slides. Now it's time for guest introductions. But wait, we have 2 full pages of guests today. So I beg of you, just say the person's name because we do want to celebrate everybody that's here. And on our mics, we have Eddie Trong and Kelly Dipple. Kelly, great to see your setup on Saturday at the Mini Masters. She was all decked out for St. Patrick's Day, so that was fun. Kelly, a brief introduction of yourself, please.
Thank you, President Karen. My name is Kelly Dipple. I am a trusted real estate advisor with Coldwell Banker. Sarju Naran was my and is my sponsor. And well, you guys go ahead. I have a guest I'd like to introduce when we're ready.
You'll get the first privilege. And Eddie, I don't see you. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, President Karen. Eddie Trong, I'm a government affairs consultant. My sponsor is Matt Bell. Hey, Matt.
All right, Matt. All right, Sarju. We love that. Okay, if you have a guest or you're a visiting Rotarian, please stand to be recognized. Kelly, let's start with your guest.
I would like to introduce Chris Carroll. He is the CEO with Kopenbarger, which is a trust and litigation firm with offices around California. He is also married and the father of 2 little kiddos. He likes to golf and garden and cook, and he is a fabulous guy. This is his 2nd time attending Rotary, and I hope that he will be joining us soon.
Well, with that introduction, I can already think of 3 committees he's perfect for. So we've got a home for you. Welcome. Ron? Where's the microphone next? Okay.
Thank you. Johnny Camus,
yes,
and my
Johnny.
guest today is Jacob Sanchez. He is a commercial realtor, and he also sits on the board of Learning Home Partners, which is an organization that helps kids that do not speak English speak English.
Perfect. You'd be wonderful for our Los Amigos committee. So think about that. Okay, next introduction, please. Where am I looking? Who's got the microphone?
Right here.
Okay, Larry Stone. Boo!
Yeah. President Karen, my guest today is Angel Doe. She's a pharmacist here in San Jose.
Welcome, Angel.
Hi, David Cohen. My guest today is my Chief of Staff, Lam Nguyen.
That's an important job. Nice to have you. Yes.
President Karen, Steve Ellenberg, law practice litigation. Remember when we used to say the categories? And I love the lawyers, so bring in more lawyers.
We love everybody.
My guest today is Will Nevis, a software engineer at LinkedIn, which is what we really need here is more software engineers.
And when I met him, he told me that he goes by the Rotary sign and it calls to him every time. So please warmly welcome him. He might join our Rotary family. Ron Gonzalez.
Hi, President Karen. I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Chris Martinez, who's with Air Systems.
Oh. Kathleen.
Hello, President Karen. I'm delighted to introduce my good friend Gail Del Rio, who is the sales manager for ABB.
Oh, wonderful. Terry.
President Karen, this is Marilyn Diaz. She's a fellow Rotarian from Sierra Madre, and she also was on the Rotoplast trip with me and Jaime when we went to Bangladesh.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that effort. Matt Bell.
Good afternoon, President Karen and guests. I'm very pleased to announce two of my guests. And right here with me is Ireneo Mendoza, Regional Director with Robert Half, and Dora Beyer, who's Director of Community Development at Excite Credit Union.
Great. And Matt, I want you to promise me you'll bring Gracie to one more meeting during my term, please. I just love her.
Hello,
Dave.
President Karen. Dave Peterson, Gymnastics here, and I bring along my fellow Director of California Sports Center, Christopher Brown. Thank you.
Janica.
Hi, good afternoon. Janica Clem with Heritage Bank, and I am thrilled to welcome my guest today. She is with the Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative, of which our speaker is the current board chair. And my guest is Vanetta Thompson, and she is their Director of Partnerships. So welcome.
Welcome.
Last
Carl.
but not least, I'm just thrilled to have my neighbors, my friends, and my business partners, Steve and Laura Wolford.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Okay, it's that special time in the program where we're going to do Ring the Bell. Now, we typically do this the first Wednesday of the month, but we've had an embarrassment of riches with all of the updates and presentations that we've had, so we put it off to now. If you'd like us to celebrate any of your successes or to share any of your challenges, please stand to ring the bell. And James, I know that you want to ring the bell. I don't see, there you are. Would you like to go first? A microphone's making your way. Eddie's coming to you.
Thank you. James Williams. So I wanted to ring the bell today in honor of Jerry Silva. I know he spoke to the group 2 or 3 weeks ago. Jerry's been a 30-year member of this club. He was the president in 2006, 2007, and he is the ultimate evangelist for Rotary. And he was my sponsor and a good friend before that. And 2 weeks ago, he moved into a retirement center in Southern California to be near his family and grandkids. And that's a very difficult move, to leave all of you and the people that he loves. And I know that we'll all miss him, and he watches live every day on Zoom. So we're thinking of you, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. We miss you. Janica. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me ring that bell.
Thanks for that, James. That was really nice. Well, in honor of our speaker and of Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative being in the house, I just want to ring the bell once for all the young girls who are starting on their sports adventure, for all the women who look to achieve in sports. I just think it is so important, so I want to ring the bell once for that.
Perfect. And because you know I love data, one quick fact about that. Girls and boys both who are involved in sports have better grades, they're less likely to drop out of school, there's lower teen pregnancy, and fewer drugs are taken. So keep going with those sports. Jaime?
Hello, President Karen. Jaime Chavez. I want to ring the bell 3 times.
Ooh.
We just returned from a successful Rotoplast mission, and the 3 rings will be one for a donor of Chevron Bangladesh, Another was the donor of Emirates Airline, who paid for all the medical volunteers to go. And the third for making our bill so much less for this club, for picking up a big chunk of that donation to make the Rotoplas mission successful. So 3 for us.
Got it.
Hey, President Karen.
By the way, that was our first trip ever to Bangladesh, so thank you again for going and doing that critical work. Carl Salas.
Hey, President Karen. Hey, we oftentimes hear Go Bells or Go Spartans, but we very rarely hear Go Bulldogs for San Jose High. And yeah. And I read in Sal's column 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, that the robotics team has actually went to the nationals. They came in like 7th in the nation, and they're competing. And you know, they don't have a lot of money, and Sal nicely put out that they needed some money. I think it's all taken care of. But I just wanted to ring the bell one time for that robotics team and for San Jose High Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.
And also, another time for Sal, thanks for writing those columns. I'm telling you, it keeps me going.
Awesome.
Hi, President Karen. I'd love to ring the bell once. I think the theme is soccer today, so my youngest niece is a freshman on the Homestead High School soccer team, and they won a CCS title this year.
Excellent. That's exciting.
President Karen, thank you very much. As a graduate of San Jose High School in 1957, I'd like to ring the bell once.
Right on. Keeping the alma mater alive. Kathleen.
President Karen, I would like to ring the bell twice. One for Bay FC, who had their first win. Yay, go team. And the other one for a longtime Rotarian who's given so much to our club, so much to ELC, always behind the scenes, but so I framed some photos of Carl Silker.
Oh, Carl. That is so kind. By the way, Carl is the only Rotarian that has been with that program since day one, 40 years, and every year, so that we can share in the joy, he spends approximately 15 hours creating a video to highlight the 96 student participants. Carl, thank you so much. Maggie.
Yes, hello, President Karen. I'd like to ring the bell once for all the women in San Jose Rotary. Happy, wonderful Women's Day and Women History Month.
Excellent. Women leading change. I love it. Alfreda.
Hi, President Karen. I like to make 3 bells, one for myself for being a woman, and I won the lawsuit in my country, a lot of them, because it's a long story. Then the second one for my 2 kids, they are going to be having their white coat ceremony. So 3 times. Thank
Wonderful. You. Steve.
President Karen, I want to ring the bell twice. Once for my friend Alex Shore, who ran a valiant campaign for city council, but came up a little short this time, but not next time. And the other for our friend David Cohen on his successful re-election campaign to the San Jose City Council. Congratulations.
Hi, President Karen.
Hi there.
I'd like to ring the bell one time. With great pride, I share that my son, Aaron, recently became the newest and, at age 24, by far the youngest member of the Rotary Club of Portland.
Oh, how wonderful. It's all in the family. And by the way, for those going to the gala, my date is my dad, so you're going to get to meet him, president of the South Ukiah Rotary Club. John Ball.
Hi, President Karen. I'll determine how many times I ring the bell gauged on the applause I get at the end of this. But obvious example of my mouth overrunning everything. So I want to ring the bell. I'll tell you at the end. But I want to ring the bell for my daughter, who just rejoined Apple for the 2nd time in her glorious work career. I want to ring the bell in celebration of our 45th wedding anniversary coming up on Sunday. Also, I want to ring the bell for all my friends that are here. When I joined Rotary, I had a hole in our lives. We felt like we lived here, but it wasn't our home, and our lives have become a lot richer because of being Rotarians. So I'll ring the bell, let's call it 6 times.
All right. And in 5 short years, you and Paula will join an elite group, John. Only 7% of married couples achieve 50 years of marriage. So you're on your way. I think it's going to stick. I think it's going to stick this time. David.
Hi, President Karen. I want to ring the bell. Since we're talking about women in sports today, I want to ring the bell for my daughter who's traveling to Atlanta in April for the Collegiate Nationals of Powerlifting.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Hello, President Karen. I'd like to ring the bell 3 times. The first time in honor of Bob Gurr, who did a wonderful presentation last night. It was truly a pleasure. Number 2, I am celebrating my 25th year as a State Farm agent this year.
Wonderful.
And it's also my 60th birthday this month.
Happy birthday. And Evan and I really enjoyed chatting with you last night. Nice to get to know you better. Okay, that's 28 ring. Oh, here we go.
President Karen, David Heindel with HotWorks. I'd like to ring the bell 3 times for our family-owned HotWorks business in downtown. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary in operations next Thursday, a week from tomorrow. And I'm ringing it 3 times since, although we've been open for 5 years, we were closed for 2 of them due to the government lockdown.
Thank you for that. Okay, that's 31 rings. That's wonderful. Thank you. And you'll have a chance to do it in 2 more weeks, so keep those stories coming. Matt Bell, come on up. We're going to get a membership update. You know, the membership is the lifeblood of this organization. Take it away.
Indeed it is, President Karen. Thank you. As you know, I come up monthly to kind of give an update on where we are, and I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of great momentum going. As you know, our goal for the year is 40, and we were lagging behind that a little bit, still are, but we've got 24 new members added thus far to date. A lot of what looks like some great guests and prospective members in the audience today. 16 more to go, so let's do this. Let's keep the momentum going. We know that in spring is our best time of year for recruiting, so please get those folks, bring them to a lunch like today. I have 2 guests myself who are exploring Rotary by reaching out on LinkedIn, and I got a great response, and I know a number of you are doing that as well on other social media. So keep the guests coming. We also are doing a lot of proactive outreach. There's a small but mighty committee, Rod Dearden, Bunny Layden, Karen Fox, John Ball, that is, and Matt Bell, myself. We're competing to see who can, by the end of the year, recruit the most members. So, and the winner, of course, as I'm getting a call, is, and I'll take it, is going to get dinner at the Capitol Club on President Karen. So thank you.
I look forward to treating.
We also talked about and are hoping that each committee, 40-plus committees, can put on the agenda let's get 1 new member for the committee to join Rotary this year. I think that's a great way of keeping recruitment top of mind for everyone in the club. I don't know why this is out of order, but remember, we're trying to look around the valley, the community business and business and community leaders. You know, why aren't they in Rotary? And I think it's fine to go up and ask them, why aren't you in Rotary? Most often is because no one has asked them. So let's keep doing that. And if you do have anybody that you're not able to really reach out to, but you've got an idea, send it to me, not any of the other people, but just to me. So we can reach out to them and make sure that they've got, you know, an opportunity to at least come and learn more. And then finally, like I've done and many of you have done today, bring a guest to Rotary. It makes it free for your guests, which we've always done, as long as they're a prospective member, and then as well this year, free for you. The policy is that you've got to order lunch by 1 o'clock on Monday, just as we always do, but instead of going to pay, pick the other box and then go there and list your guest or guests, and those will all be free for the week. Then finally, as I mentioned, use social media. Who was I just talking to before? Ron has put something out on Facebook, and how many, Ron, are interested? 5 people.
Oh, wow.
5 people. Now, it might be a little bit different. You get an invite from Ron Gonzalez, that's something, but I think a lot of us can get a lot of interest. You'd just be surprised at how often people just haven't been asked. Finally, I just want to recognize those who have already recruited members this year. Of course, the king, Rod Dearden, leading the way with 6. It's probably 7, but if he's here, he'll correct me. Catherine Tompkinson right behind with 3. Our president-elect, Heather Lerner with 2, and then the rest of the folks on the list have all brought in at least 1. So thank you all for your recruiting efforts. Hopefully this is inspiration for you all to keep them coming. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, it's time for the gala update. Matt Robin, take it away. He's going to build the enthusiasm.
Hi, everyone. How are we? Do y'all know we're having a fun little gala on Saturday night? Yes. Rotary Land, huh? So first of all, we want to make a huge thanks to all of our sponsors. Those names have been scrolling in front. We have a lot of wonderful Rotarians and non-Rotarians who have sponsored this event. If you don't know what it's about, this is all about supporting the Rotary Foundation. So we are bringing money in so we can support our community, which is exactly what we as Rotarians do, but we can do it even better with money. So we're asking you to show up on Saturday night. Now, if you haven't already gotten a ticket, today is the last day. So we already put in our lunch, or not our lunch order, but our order to say this is how many plates are coming, but we have until the end of the day. So if you haven't gotten a ticket and you want to come, and this nudges you over the edge, we really hope you're going to come. The activities already started last night. As Steve mentioned, Bob Gurr, and a lot of you probably don't know that name, Bob Gurr was the last, or is the last, at 92 years old, living Imagineer who worked with Walt Disney, opened the theme park in 1953 when he was 23 years old. He's responsible for all of their transportation-related things. So the monorail, the Matterhorn, the Autopia car rides. He designed all of that, as well as many, many more things. And we had an amazing event open to sponsors and ticket buyers last night that allowed you to see him speak at the Winchester Mystery House inside of a garage, no less, which was really cool, like a converted, beautiful old garage. But it was a wonderful event, and he just talked about his passion and joy for what he does. We also have okay, so we're getting into, yeah, thank you. They're telling me to scroll my slides forward. But I want to tell you why you're going to be at the auction and what fun you have to look for, and that is a lovely segue into our slides of our live auction items. This year we have the cocktail party by Sal and Amy Pizarro. If John Ball's in the house, he is going to let you come and drive in his car with him, as well as give you the opportunity to drive your own car on a racetrack. We have an incredible trip to New York where you get to go see Broadway shows, wonderfully donated by Nancy Williams and Mike Borer. Of course, Mark Lazzarini and Jeannie and their wonderful pizza party in their beautiful backyard. Steve Sosnowski and Chris Kenward have donated a gorgeous trip in Shady Pines, kind of the gold country. It's going to be such a beautiful place. We have some really fun videos to show it. Choose your cruise. You literally get to pick a cruise to go on, generously donated by Sharad Gupta and Your Home Sold Guaranteed, our biggest sponsor, as well as the Culinary and Hospitality Committee Napa Overnight. This is an incredible dinner with wine pairings, as well as a lavish champagne brunch hosted by Bert and Cindy George the next morning. We have an experience in San Miguel de Allende, donated by Larry Kukler and Yvonne Montez, and it is 7 days in such an incredible town in Mexico. It is really a magical, magical place to be in. And of course, who wouldn't want to go to a 1 week at a castle that Louis XIII used as his hunting grounds many generations ago? So you can stay for a week with 4 people, and the photos of this place, it is unreal. So those are some of our live auction items. Let's say you can't be there. We are taking proxy bids. So if you know you can't be there, but you want to bid on something, tell us your max bid. We're not going to be on the phone with you. If you're saying, hey, I want to give 20 grand to this, that's what we're getting to. We've got our Pearl Pavilion, where you can win $1,200 pearls for getting a $50 cocktail. And then we, of course, have our lovely speaker, who is starting next. We hope to see you on Saturday, the live auction, the silent auction, all the fun and games. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Perfect. That was just perfect. So now I have a fun fact, 2 event recaps, a reminder, as well as 3 very simple requests. So the fun fact, our own Rod Dearden just published an essay on high-speed rail and climate change, in the Rotary magazine. If you don't get the digital version, Maddie Padavoni has copies of the actual magazine itself. Take a look. It's a very compelling article full of facts and figures. And then the two fun events you heard from Matt about last evening featuring Bob Gurr, 92 years old, sharp as a tack, clever, charismatic. It was a wonderful event. And just hearing his stories were really meaningful. So thank you, Heather, wherever you may be. That was incredible. Really appreciate that. And then, of course, we had the mini masters in honor of past President Bryan Adams on Saturday. It was so fun. And Alex, which is Charlie's little best friend, and it's Anna Rudell's son, you know, Rotarian Anna Rudell, who does Mindfulness Moment. He got the Happy Gilmore Award because one of his shots ended up on a totally different hole. But he did a great job. It was really fun had by all. So thank you, very special thank you to Brenda Sweeney for being there and Doug Smith, who led this effort. And we love, Chelsea, getting to know your husband, so very nice to dine with you. And then we have a request. Rose Simmons, who's the chair of our RotaCare committee. Now, for those of you who might not know, RotaCare provides free medical services to those who are underinsured or uninsured. We have a clinic at Washington Elementary School. It used to be weekly pre-pandemic, and now they're just gearing up to potentially have it weekly again. These professionals donate all of their time. They are not compensated financially. However, we do give them dinner. That's the least we can do. But it doesn't come from our budget because we get restaurants to donate the meals. And you'd be surprised how many people are willing to say yes if they're just asked. So if you have connections with any restaurants, please make the ask. They just need to provide 12 meals 4 times per year. Or if you yourself would like to do some cooking or some buying and want to volunteer, talk to Rose. It's a great opportunity. And then finally, our Marie continues to battle cancer. I think her spirits might be dipping just a little bit, so we've got some cards at the welcome table. Please make sure that you send her your love and sign those cards. She needs us, and of course, providing support is something we do best. And to that end, on your table, you'll see a flyer regarding refugee support. The Refugee Committee is looking for a place for a young Afghan family to reside. If you have any connections that you can offer, please band together and share those with Mark McKenna. More details can be found on the flyer, and I think that's really exciting. And then finally, it's time for our guest speaker. Come on up, Larry, and introduce her. But before we do that, Shiloh Ballard is going to do a surprise cheer. Come on, Shiloh. She's our Red Badger. Go, Shiloh.
Okay. I'm going to lead you in a cheer. I'm going to do it first, and then once I go through it, you got to join in. Ready? Ready?
Yes!
That's more like it. B. A. Y. K. F. C. B.
A. Y. F. C. B. A. Y. F. C. Woo! All right, thank you. Take it away. Oh, let me get my phone so I can monitor time.
Okay, keep that schedule, Liz. Good. Pardon? I know. How do you follow and act like that? Jeez, I'm not a cheerleader, so don't expect that from me. But you know, our speaker today is certainly no stranger to our club. Many of you might remember the last time Danielle spoke. It was to our club at the offsite that we did at PayPal Park when it was recently opened, and she was there and kind of directed us and told us the story of what was really happening and behind that. Danielle is a native of San Jose, a local alumna of Presentation High School and Santa Clara University with us. Go Broncos, yes. With a stellar soccer career. While at Santa Clara, she was captain of the 2001 NCAA championship team, soccer team, along with being named 3 times All-American and in 2001, the NCAA Scholar Athlete of the Year. She played for the U.S. national team in 2000 to 2005, earning a 2000 Olympic silver and a bronze in the 2003 Women's World Cup. Retiring from playing, she coached women's soccer at Northwestern University, and currently she works as a television analyst for professional and college soccer games, including Women's Olympics, the World Cup, and European Championships. I don't know how she fits all of this stuff into her time, you know, and she's got a family, a young family as well. But today what's really special about this is that she's going to be talking about the Women's Bay Football Club and how that was launched. They're in their inaugural season, and what we can have as expectations into the future. Along with the growing, and what you will also be addressing, is the growing popularity of women's sports, both at the collegiate and at the professional level in this country. So, join me in welcoming my friend and our San Jose native, Danielle Slaton.
Hello? Can you hear me? Is it on? Check, cash, credit. Okay. I brought some stickers. I'll leave them up on the piano. Go Bay FC. Got some season ticket holders in the house, I can see. So let me take you to Saturday. Saturday was our first ever game in history. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. We played away at the Angel City Football Club, and I think it was very fitting that our first game was against them because they really were the impetus behind the idea that we had to bring women's professional football, soccer back to the Bay Area. Saturday, I don't even fully know how to explain all of the highs and lows that personally I had. But you all may have heard about Bay FC in particular over the last year or so. We had our big name and launch party in June. But Saturday for me was like the opening day of a World Cup, because this has been something that was an idea back in 2020. And we've been working on this for 4 years. And especially when you lose a World Cup, you win third. If you play for the U.S. women's national team, if you don't get gold, you lose. So that's just how we look at it and the swagger with which we approached it. But 4 years ago, that was like the beginning of the journey to the World Cup. And all of a sudden, Friday night, it was like the eve of the World Cup, and Saturday was the first day of the World Cup. And that was the emotion with which I got to walk into BMO Stadium. And we had a bunch of media, and all of us girls were together, myself, Allie, Brandy, and Leslie. But I can tell you there are very few things that have made me more proud than to see those women walk out onto the field. And I thought that that was enough. And then we scored a goal. And I lost my freaking mind, you guys. I lost it. I'm glad there were pictures of me because I was like running around up and down the stands. It was wild. But to see that come to life, to see these women give everything they had to score a goal. And then, to be fair, we were hanging on a little bit in the second half. Angel City hit the post. Our goalkeeper had a record 8 saves. And to be able to see the heart and the grit and the passion with which they put everything and poured it all onto the field made me so proud. So let me take you back to June of 2020. It was the middle of the pandemic. We all probably had way too much time to think. And Angel City Football Club was announced that there's this new team coming into the NWSL. And a number of my former teammates were a part of that venture because they had ties to Los Angeles. So Abby Wambach, Julie Foudy, Lori and Ronnie Fair, who are from here but now live down there. And so a number of women's national team players were a part of this announcement. And honestly, my first reaction was, excuse my language, what the hell? How come I don't get to be a part of this? How did I not know about this? How did you all do this and not tell me? So I called up Julie Foudy and I was like, what is going on, sister? Like, I want in. And she said, you know, there's some other people in the Bay Area sniffing around about this. Like, there's a couple of tech women who are sniffing around about raising money. You should talk to them. And so Leslie, Allie, Brandy, and myself all got together, sat on Allie's back porch, probably drank way too much wine, and said, you know what? Like, I mean, if they could do it, we could do it, right? Like, it can't be that hard. And then we got introduced to a couple of other women in the tech space and in the business space who had experience in sports and media who were starting to sniff around. And we had a meeting, and these women said, you know what? I think this is the time. And I bet you that this is going to be the easiest fundraise that we have ever had to do. And we started, and that was it. And we started talking to people, engaging, asking. And there was plenty of people at first who said no. But all it took was the right person to say yes, and that began to open the floodgates for us. That began to connect us to the people who got the vision, who got the idea. And for us, it was about always putting our players front and center. And quite frankly, doing it in a way that we probably didn't really experience as players. I grew up in the shut up and dribble era, right? I grew up in the put your head down and don't say anything and just do the job on the field. And our goal in bringing this club here is to put our players at the center of everything we do, to put our community right next to those players, and to see that if we can, if we can achieve what we want to achieve, and if we can do the things we say we're going to do, then I think we're going to do great things. I truly believe that if we change the world's game, we can change the world. I believe if we give access to people in the world game, particularly girls and kids from underserved communities who don't have that access, we can change the opportunities that they've been given, just as it changed the game for me. If we can change how women are valued in the sport of soccer, we can change how women are valued in the world. And we're starting to see that more and more with the investment in the women's game and across women's sports. Eventually, our fundraising and our early investors led us to Sixth Street Capital, first ever private equity fund to be the majority owner in a United States professional team. It happens a lot in Europe, but not here in the United States so much. And let me tell you, I feel like we've turned the page when it comes to professional sports and women's soccer, because for a long time, and when I was playing, it was charity. It was like, oh, we should do this because it's the right thing to do. We should do this because we're supporting the men, and we should also support the women. Let me tell you, private equity money does not get interested for charity, right? They ran the numbers. They saw that this was an undervalued asset, and they said, we think this is a fantastic deal, and we want to get in on the ground floor, and we believe in your vision, and we believe that we can change the world. I truly believe that when we fast forward to 20 years from now, there's going to be maybe 10, 15 people who sit around the table who change the landscape of women's soccer. We want to be one of the people at those tables. And we have this vision to be very local and to be connected to our community and give to the Bay Area in a way that's deep and meaningful and is like a true good citizen. But we also have global aspirations to stand shoulder to shoulder with the biggest brands in sports and say we are one of those. Right now, there's not a single women's professional team that stands shoulder to shoulder with the Barcelonas, the Madrids, the Cowboys, the Yankees, all of these big brands that you see. That's what we were aiming to do. I think even too, when we branded and we came up with our logo, it kind of has this like a little bit of a traditional old school feel. At least that's what we were going for. Because you know what? To be traditional in women's sports is kind of groundbreaking. Because we haven't been here that long. It's a little bit ironic in some sense, but we wanted to look and feel and be as if we had been here for a long time, because that's what we intend to do. I'll very quickly, before we get to questions, so I can make sure that we chat and I answer anything that you'd like, give you a little bit of a fast forward to what we hope to see this season. On the field, we've drafted and recruited and signed players. We've signed actually a number of international players. The woman who scored our first ever goal, her name is Asisat Oshuala. Everybody calls her Z. She is Nigerian. She plays for the Nigerian women's national team. She was the 6-time African Player of the Year. who I think will be like the heir apparent to that is also on our roster. Her name is Rachel Kundananji. You haven't yet seen her play. She just arrived about a week ago. And she's Zambian. She's incredible. Both of these women are, their stories, which hopefully you will hear over time, are incredible. Z has her own academy of young girls that she funds to go to school and play soccer in Nigeria. And their stories are truly remarkable. In addition, we have another African player. Her name is Princess, and everyone calls her Sessa. You should expect to see her as well. We have a Scottish woman named Jen Beattie, who her story is remarkable. She is recovered from breast cancer just 3 years ago at the age of 33, I believe. And then we have a number of awesome young players who I think are ripe for development, and their potential is sky high under the leadership of our coach, Albertine Montoya, who is a local Bronco as well, and is really known for his development of young players, having coached young girls in Mountain View, Los Altos area for a long time. We also have a number of veteran NWSL players you should keep an eye on. They're going to be the real anchor and backbone of our team, including Alex Luera, who's a Santa Clara Bronco, was the first ever player we signed. On the business front, we have big aspirations. I think we're at 9,000 season tickets sold, which is pretty remarkable given that we went on sale in the middle of January. So we still are churning, we're still burning, but we have the aspirations to change the way that business is viewed. We are brave to take risks and say we're going to do things a little bit differently, while also making sure that we stay with and stick with the things that we know are going to be tried and true in the sports world and in the Bay Area community. I welcome you all. We're playing right around the corner at PayPal. I know that one of the things I've learned on this journey is that my voice in this matters. And my seat at the table and advocating for our players and the things matter. And I had to get over a little bit of my imposter syndrome. I had to get over some of these things to say, no, I have to get up here and I have to do the work. And so what I'm asking of you is the same. I'm asking you to come to our games, to watch on TV. That is the way that our business is going to run, and it is not charity. It is good damn business, and it is going to be a rockin' good time. We are nearly sold out already to our home opener, so if you haven't got your tickets, jump on the bandwagon there. But look for us. I'm here to answer any questions, and hopefully I will see you guys in the stadium, and you already know our first cheer, so you're in. Thank you all very much. Yeah.
All right. Yes, Kathleen.
Hi, I'm really chatty today, aren't I?
I love it.
I've been really sad since we lost the cyber race, so I'm thrilled to have our season tickets. I wanted to say one thing. My husband's Peruvian and mad about soccer. He thinks the women here play better, just so you know.
Awesome.
Who do you think is going to be our biggest challenge in terms of opposition teams?
You know, I would say the two teams that last year, San Diego Wave were finished top of the league, so they had the most wins. They're going to be certainly a team to keep an eye out on. Portland always rolls strong too, and I really would say that the NWSL, when you look at the West Coast contingent, like West is tough right now. You've got Angel City, you've got San Diego, you've got Portland. All three of those teams were in the Final Four, if you will. Now Gotham won the NWSL last year, but keep an eye out for Portland. That's coming up in May, and then San Diego as well will be, I think, another good rivalry.
Excellent. Shiloh.
Hi, Shiloh, Red Badger.
Cheerleader.
Cheerleader. Ooh, I don't know if I like that name. Question for you more on the business side, and I'll just say season ticket holder, everybody should get their season tickets. And I don't want to minimize the vision that you all are putting out there, which you didn't really talk about. You kind of alluded to, putting the players first and like helping them do whatever they want to do on or off the field, which I think is just such a fantastic way of approaching a business. But I want to ask you about the stadium part of it, because originally when you all were announcing, it was like, oh, we want our own stadium. And I was like, well, do they need their own stadium? But gosh, they're women. What if they don't have their own stadium? And what does that say? But we're also in the middle of Silicon Valley, which pioneers this sharing economy kind of thing. So given your vision, given the kind of non-traditional way of thinking about business, I'm wondering if you could comment on the stadium aspect in the future.
Yeah. So I would say our first priority when it comes to real estate, for lack of a better term, is our training center and our headquarters. So we are moving, shaking, and on the search, and pretty close, I would say, hopefully, to a site selection for what I will consider our Bay FC home, which will really be training fields and like our performance center as well as our offices. So that's by far and away the first priority. Once we get that settled, which, you know, in development years, like if you're moving and shaking, that's like 2, 3, 4 years at the speed of light, then the shift will be to stadium. So I don't even think we're there. I think, you know, that's the sexy thing to talk about. But if I'm looking internally, that's the distraction that we have to push to the side until we get like our first team running and until we figure out how to break ground on our training facility.
Very good.
Hi, good afternoon. I just want to say thank you very much for that presentation. Shiloh stole my topic that I was going to ask or talk about, but congratulations on the first of many victories. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alex. Wanted to know, Danielle, what great things can we expect from you with the team and beyond in the years ahead?
We'll always be a proud co-founder, so that's always something I'm, you know, we'll be really proud to have. My role with the team right now is in strategic projects and heading up the foundation. So I kind of do the longer term big vision goals. Right now, my #1 project is our commercial real estate, getting our facilities done. #2 is starting our foundation. I actually have a meeting with our lawyers at 1:30, which is why I have to jet out of here to get that going. So getting our nonprofit arm up and going. And that's really gonna be about leading research and leading, creating like what I would call like a holistic leadership framework around what it means to be high-performing women athletes and high-performing women leaders. So that's going to be the trajectory that our foundation is built around. And then finally, our youth academy. We think really it's extremely important to provide access to kids all across, and specifically girls all across the Bay Area who want to play this sport. And so when we build our academy, albeit, you know, probably 3 years from now. We're starting to lay the foundation for that right now, and how can we make sure that any girl who wants to have access to our sport does?
Fantastic.
Literally what I was just about to ask about. That's fantastic. I was wondering about how you were going to engage with the local youth, and that's, you know, I think brilliant. I would love to chat with you about that foundation. I think it's really important in the way that you show up. So I'll just say thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Lots of work ahead. You know, being a really great citizen is something that is near and dear to our heart. This is my home. I was born here. I was raised here. And so I'm always open for conversations about how we can interact with your groups, how we can give back to your communities. You will always get a transparent answer from me of, yes, we can do this, or I'm not sure that we can. But I welcome that, because part of it and part of the reason you all are here and part of the reason I'm here is to connect with you all, learn what you're doing, and figure out how we as Bay FC can use our platform to better support the work you're doing as well.
Perfect. And Steve, just really quickly, we have a question on Zoom. Thank you, Kai Kai, for sending this. Elaine Sullivan would like to know what media stations are televising and broadcasting the games.
Oh, wow. It's a little bit complicated, though. It is a record-breaking deal for the NWSL. It was a $60 million new media deal from a national broadcast, so you can find games on Amazon, you can find games on ION, which is like over the air, also ESPN and CBS, but locally it's NBC Sports Bay Area.
Thank you. Past President Steve.
Danielle, congratulations on the great success. We're all rooting for you big time. Can you tell us approximately how much it cost to put this whole deal together and how many investors you ended up with?
Yeah, so I don't actually know the answer to that question in terms of investors. I would say we have a number of minority investors or small investors that led us to 6th Street. 6th Street by far and away is our largest investor. They are the decision maker, no question. But I want to say at the end of the day, we probably ended up with around 40 or 50, give or take. Smaller investors to start, but the decision maker really lies with one single investor for the most part. Sheryl Sandberg is actually also an investor too. We've had some cool partnerships with her Lean In Girls Foundation and her Lean In Foundation around girls in leadership, so that's been a good one. But yeah, 6th Street's the big dog here in our corner.
Very good.
Hi, Danielle. Thanks for being here today. Really exciting. Wondering, just to keep on the business theme, you've got these investors, but ultimately, aren't the revenue streams, you know, ticket sales, sponsorship, corporate sponsorships? How's that going? Who are the corporate sponsors? And then maybe a follow-up. how can these women, make a good living, comp-wise, in playing soccer on the team?
Yeah, so I mean, you're exactly right? You have your investor, but your revenue streams really come from 3 big sources: sponsorships, ticket sales, and merchandise. And we have really ambitious goals to hit those targets. I would say our front of kit jersey was the largest ever jersey sale in the history of the NWSL, and we did that in 42 days. I have no idea how we did that, because it's usually about an 18-month sales cycle. But Sutter Health is our front of kit sponsor, and they're a great partner for us. We actually already sadly had an athlete tear her ACL, so we've already had to call on our Sutter Health partners for that. PNC is also another one of our founding sponsors as well. I think the reality for us is we are really, just because we're trying to do this so fast, we're not going to have a portfolio of 30, 40, 50 sponsors to start. We're really focused on high quality partners who have an aligned vision with us, who want to do good work in the community, who see the value in what we can provide. And so we'll be continuing to roll those out and announce those soon. We actually have one that's coming any day now, I hope. So you'll see more and more, but that's certainly our sponsorship focus. I would say too that we have on a ticket sales side, we have a range. We have priced our tickets so people can get in the door. We've also, made sure that we have a rock and supporting section and all of that stuff. So I think tickets are very reasonably priced, really reasonably priced when you talk about professional. I would say you could get in the door for $15. In your supporter section, in our supporter section. If you don't want to stand the whole time and cheer the whole time, then probably 20, 25.
A good value. Matt Robin.
A couple things. One, thank you for the perfect segue back to the auction, which I was talking about earlier. One of the items you can win in our candy bar sale for $100 is 2 tickets to the Bay Football Club, where we actually have a section in the box seats area? What are they? Not the box, but the
club seats.
The club seats. So a phenomenal place there. So that's one of the things you can win at the auction. The second thing is with all these Rotarians who have amazing connections throughout Silicon Valley, would you like to be sponsored by Matt Robin here, no less, to join the San Jose Rotary Club? Think about it. Don't answer that now. I'm glad Mr. Matt Bell didn't get to that.
Dinner at the Capitol Club.
We'd love to have you here. And third, as a season ticket holder, I've seen a lot of the emails coming out, and you guys have a lot of really interesting theme nights. Can you kind of expand on those and what those are relative to the community and just kind of some of the fun that we can expect throughout the season?
Yeah, a handful of theme nights. We have Women's Empowerment Night that's coming up on the 14th. You're going to have to go look online on all of the exact dates. We have a Asian American and Pacific Islander Day. We have Pride. We have Juneteenth. I think we're going to have a youth soccer sports night. We have Latinx Heritage Night. So we have a handful of those. I don't remember the exact dates off the top of my head, but that's certainly something where we're looking to amplify, bring those things to life in a variety of ways, not just on game day, but really leading up to and around all of those games.
Excellent. Carl.
Danielle, thanks for being here. I still have, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, I still haven't figured out soccer.
Really?
No, and
it's like hockey, but
you're so infectious, and I'd really like to start going.
Yeah.
But do tell me, what's the difference between men's soccer and women's soccer, for instance?
I don't think there's a lot of difference, other than I think women's soccer is more entertaining to watch. So.
That's the right answer.
But I mean, in all seriousness, we're in a moment in soccer in this country. We have the Copa America coming this summer. We have the Club World Cup coming next summer. We have the Men's World Cup coming in 2026. We have a bid for the Women's World Cup, which will get announced on May 17th in conjunction with Mexico, which potentially could put Women's World Cup here in 2027. We have the Olympics in 2028. So now is the time for soccer. So if you don't know that much about soccer, there's plenty of opportunities to watch, plenty of opportunities to engage. Our Bay Area Host Committee is working really hard on figuring out what the legacy piece is and how playing games up at Levi Stadium can be a bigger impact to the community. So there's lots of opportunities through the game of soccer right now to amplify opportunities for young people, opportunities just around the game, and using these platforms and big entities like FIFA, like the Olympics, to be able to move our society forward. Because it's not about soccer in the end of the day. Let's be clear, right? It's about using sport to advance things and move things forward. It's about using sport for kids in particular to practice all of these skills that we expect them to do as adults. Like, let's use these opportunities so this moment in these 5 years isn't just awesome, we had a beer at a game, but it actually does something more than that.
Very good.
So I have a 6-year-old daughter at home, and she just had her first competitive soccer game this past Sunday. And one of the conversations that I hear on the sidelines at practices and during games pretty frequently is parents trying to balance how involved their daughters are getting in soccer because the compensation long-term isn't as great as in other sports. I think that passion should drive that for a majority of their childhood, but I do recognize that the compensation differences are significant and really at the front of mind. How are you guys addressing that, and how would you advise I try to have that conversation with parents as well?
So do you mean compensation
For players,
as opposed to opposed to men, like the difference between men and women?
Yeah.
So if your daughter's 6, I think if we do our job, by the time she's a professional soccer player, she'll be fine because she will be
Fantastic.
Like, give you and I about 10 years to work with, because I'm not kidding. Some of these girls are at 16, 17, 18, making their way onto the national team and into the professional ranks. But I think it's everything, right? I think it's us pushing the league to make sure that we raise the salary cap. It's us increasing things like media deal is the best way to drive that, because you're not talking about let's sell a couple $1 million here and a couple $1 million there. You're talking about big jumps in revenue. So I think we just have to keep pushing. I think you have ownership like 6th Street, like some of these new owners who are coming in across the league saying we need to raise the standard. And then when you have this lens by which you're constantly centering your players, which I think we are, I think that's going to continue to help drive it. So I think it's a lot of weight right now of being creative. We pay for all our players' housing. We give them cars and things to compensate for that. The reality is we just need to pay them so then they can go buy their own housing. So we are constantly pushing. We are at the top. We have spent more than anyone in our salary cap across the league, and so it 100% is a focus. And it's a focus of mine. Like, when I left Santa Clara and I was a #1 overall draft pick in the WUSA playing against the Cyber A's, my salary was $15,000.
Oh.
And so just as context, right? Like, and to be clear, like, for a long time and probably about 15 years, that number didn't really change. And so now we're just at this point, and this inflection point, you're starting to see it in basketball, you're starting to see it in other sports as well, where people understand that, if we expect these women to play professionally and behave professionally, we have to pay them in the same capacity. So it's a shift. It's not going as fast as I want, but it's going, which is promising, and I have hope.
Thank you so much. Please join me once again in thanking Danielle. All right, a standing ovation. I love it. In honor of your time here, we've made a donation to Fish and Loaves. So thank you again for sharing your time and talent. Okay, we're not quite done yet, guys. Couple of announcements. Please bus your own tables. I think you know that. That's #1. #2, Todd Treckle has a fish day table in the lobby. Please consider signing up to join us for this wonderful event. You'll also get a tri-tip lunch, so we always feed you. Sign-ups for April 20th right out there in the lobby. And then 3rd, a reminder for all of the women in Rotary. At the end of today, please come up here and join me. We are going to take a group photo. And finally, I'm going to jet off very quickly to Denver so I can actually do that thing called my job. It interferes with Rotary, and I'm tired of it. Anyway, my final thought for the day is, in the end, it's not the words of our enemies that we remember, but the silence of our friends. So speak up to those who are less fortunate and those you can help. Thanks, everybody. See you next Wednesday.